Yep.
All right. So, let's see here. All right. So, introduction, like basically your history of MMA, history of boxing, history. Of all
So where Charlie's Music used to be,
that.
there used to be a place called Bodies in Motion, and that was the first. It was a full contact kickboxing ran by Tommy Morgan, and Tommy Morgan was definitely one of the best instructors I ever had. He was like a hardcore guy, you know. He's still out there, but that was the first full contact like kickboxing where there was some boxing places, but that was like right out of the PKA style USA. PKA was a league that was on TV when I was younger, and that's how I got started. Right where Charlie's Music is, it was called, and that was. I was with Keith Roseby before that. I mean, when I was really young, that was like more of karate, but the boxing started with Tommy Morgan, and then from there I was at the high school with Kippy Diggs and George Maddox, and then from there I was with Johnny Burke.
Okay, yeah, yep. And that's for the dungeon. Dungeon started in his basement, right?
Dungeon started in the basement. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so like in this transfer behind him, I'm aware, but basically behind him, it used to be the dungeon.
Correct. So what happened was, when Johnny, we started in John's basement, and then we came here. Johnny had a lot of injuries, and Johnny was like, he's like, I'd like to pass the gym on to you, and I was like, wow, it's awesome. So me and a couple of the other dungeon guys took it over, but in the end, it ended up being me and basically James Curry, with the two sole survivors, and he was a younger generation than me, but the funny thing with James is, James it took a while to get the jiu-jitsu going. So James could have went anywhere, and he stuck it out, and now they just got a fucking big program in there. So,
yeah, I know. I saw him. His race. He runs a jiu-jitsu program with Walter.
Walter, yeah.
I was there that day when he came in.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember. James went from. I remember from blue all the way up to black. So,
yep. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, and grappling with him, he's good.
Oh my God, he's fucking he's like an octopus,
Yeah. So and then like basically got you into it from the dungeon, and then like you still hold the motto.
Yeah, I do. Yep. You
have the wall of pain and whatnot.
Yeah, the wall of pain is that's for you have to do something like if you had some significant fights in your career. But the real wall of pain was started from the dungeon, and what that was at the end of a training, and it didn't happen often. We'd have to have a full gym. And John would say, who wants to be on the wall of pain, and you'd have to raise your hand, and you have to fight everyone in the gym. You have to go through everybody in the gym, and that wasn't an easy crew. And
it's old school.
A lot of guys would be bawling their eyes out when they got on that. It'd be a very emotional, the wall of pain meant more than my purple belt. You know what I mean? When I got on the wall of pain, I was like, I'm on the fucking wall of pain. You know what I mean? It was a big deal.
Yeah, especially back in the day. It used to be Ruthless,
OG.
Yeah, and I guess that ties in history too, basically your experience and time there. Like you said, the old school. I've seen the transition over the years, basically where it used to be like tough dudes, more about like just being tough and being ruthless. Now it's very technical and like positive.
That's so true. It's funny you said that, but the basics still win the fights. The basics still, like Deontay Wilder. Who did he fight? Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, when they interviewed him, what he did for the fight, he said he reworked on his 1-1-2s. He just worked on his straight punches. That's, the biggest fight in the history. He worked on his 1-1-2s, and the dungeon. What the difference was we catered to just fighters. If you wanted to fight, that's where you went. And toward the end, John was like, he's like, bro, fuck the fighters. Go for the people that want to train. And I started getting into personal training. And the more I got into personal training and that avenue of it, the more I started to like personal training, and you know what I mean. It just kind of morphed into what it is now.
Yeah, well, I would probably expand on that with Service Provider, because I know you have personal training experience, tons of it, and I know that on top of just being a fighting gym, it's also boot camps. And,
absolutely.
And overall, even like the boxing, it's very low level, more fitness cardio when it comes to like 9 a.m. certain courses.
Correct.
Depends on who your clientele is.
So the earlier, I always tell people, the earlier the classes are, that's more of the people that are working out. And the later it gets, that's when the fighters, people that want to fight and compete in jiu-jitsu, really come out. So it just crosses over the later the night gets,
Yeah, which you see. And then usually peaks. Does it still peak around MMA, and then jiu-jitsu is more technical and taking its time?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Because like that's not from my experience. That's what I remembered, and like you said, it seems like you hold it and still brutal. The even like though it wasn't a high demand of like striking, it's still like a brutal workout.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Endurance.
You know, it's funny. I'm just gonna say something. So we just had a bunch of guys compete in the Golden Gloves, and Josh just won his fight. And one thing about our guys was none of them got tired. None of them. So our guys were green, very green. We were going to guys that had some experience. All our guys finished. It's like, so, you know, when you just see our guys like they're in such good condition, we're still known. The Dungeon was known for it, and we're still known for it. We still carry that tradition. Like, when our guys fight, they're going to be in shape. They're going to be conditioned, you know?
Yeah, from what I remember, the cardio was the big thing, just like ruthless cardio. That's why even when I carry over the Army and Air Force, I can just like carry it over. I can just keep going.
Yep.
So it's I know like cardio. I know what you guys provide, and now because like Provide too is on top of it. So you have your boot camp. Is it mainly run by you, the 9 a.m.?
Me or Natalie.
Okay.
Yep. Me or Natalie. We both pretty much run it all.
Okay. Yep. And then you said for MMA, do you run it or?
It's right now. It's like a mix of me, Walter, James. It's like we all, if someone's going to fight MMA, we all kind of coordinate that together. So, you know what I mean? But the striking is coming from me, the groundwork's coming from them. So it's kind of separated.
Yeah, and I know Jeff comes in from time to time.
Jeff Gonzalez, Jesse Barboza,
Okay, yeah, they both come in, they both help with certain levels of when someone's getting ready for a fight.
Yep.
But your main trainers, if you consider yourself, Natalie, James, and Walter. And James and Walter jiu-jitsu primarily.
Yeah. And Jesse Barboza is really fit into the mix. Okay. You know, he's like a good help. You know, Jesse is like me and him have been working corners together now, and we're kind of a good 1-2 punch. You know, Jeff, as you know, had cancer, so Jeff got sick, and he's really been in and out since then. You know, but you know, it's been a good mix because Jesse's a pure boxer. I got more MMA, you know, and every class you're going to get your Muay Thai kicks, your Muay Thai knees, your Muay Thai elbows with boxing. So when it says boxing, we're throwing, the dummies come out. It's kind of, we all mix it into one thing now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, usually the combinate of like MMA, those courses are usually like that, pretty much. They're all three together. Usually, well, it's mainly a mixture of like boxing, Muay Thai, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling,
correct,
and some judo.
As John would say, boxing hands with Muay Thai kicks. That was the Dungeon way. Boxing hands with Muay Thai kicks.
And usually it was more, I don't know if you guys still do, tailored more towards wrestling, not judo. There are judo, but usually, at least it used to be wrestling.
Definitely more toward wrestling than judo. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because the technical wise, it's more. I don't know. The old school used to be just grunt. Like, I'm stronger. I'm gonna technically.
We're still like that to a degree.
Yeah.
We're still cavemen in there.
Yeah.
It's still a caveman group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, it's been a bit. I go back and forth every once in a while if I'm gonna roll with James. That one time I was there for like a month or two, coming back, and it's more like I said. Even when I go back, it's just the injuries are more the thing.
Definitely.
But it's something that comes to MMA. It comes with jiu-jitsu.
No doubt.
But like. That's why it's good if somebody wants to just get in shape for like boxing courses and stuff like that. They could,
and that's what it's all about now. Like people that want to just change their life, get more confidence. I see people come in all the time, and their life, it's like their life changes. Like even there's kids in there now that they come in, they're very meek, they're afraid, and all of a sudden 6-7 months into it, you're like, wow, this person's changing. You know, I just had the varsity hockey team. I trained them, the girls hockey team, all winter, and just watching them change. Like after they start to get the punches down, and is a confidence level. You know.
Yeah. No. Like when I first came in, before you owned it was Dungeon, but still I had that transition over into here where it took me a year or two, but confidence was built. Once you have a level of understanding, it's funny. Before you get into fighting, you think you can win a fight.
True.
When you get into fighting, you get beat up so much, like,
True.
Did I ever win a fight?
Yep.
And then you start learning a level, like, you can learn your own pace and learning how you fight. And you learn that you can get better.
Definitely.
You learn, especially if it's like, now, especially it's even better, I think the positive environment. like it might not breed more of an aggressive group.
Yeah.
But like as you see with the UFC, it doesn't. At the end of the day, it matters if they win. It matters if they're technically strong. It doesn't matter if they're always just the toughest. Now, like for what I see, James and Walter, super positive environment.
Yeah.
I see it. Like the only thing I'm like they don't remember the old tough guy Barnacle who just like covered
He's
them
coming
up.
back.
He's good. He brings in the toughness aspect. But
He's coming back.
Yeah. The aspect is like the positive environment as well. It's different. It's like it's a good dynamic.
Mike, think about it. I was going to be 39 that year I fought for the title. I was 39. I was already old.
Yeah.
I was fucking old in the cage fighting for the New England title. So it's like, it's never too late if you want to. Like I tell people, they'll come in and be like, "Oh, I'm 31." I'm like, "Dude, start training. If you see yourself wanting to do something." And now there's a lot more smoker shows, and there's a lot more things people can do. Where back then it was a smaller pool, like the Dungeon, CCFA. You know, you had your schools, and you didn't mix. Now it's a melting pot. Everyone's kind of
Everyone's learning from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like, I know you guys are getting more wins. James definitely helped push that too with the brown belt wins. Now he's black belt.
Yep.
I'm sure. James surprisingly, he always is so nervous in tournament, but always wins.
He does. Yeah, he
Always
does.
wins.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he always does so well. But yeah, like you guys are getting more towards that. You guys just got another win, MMA win, right?
That was kickboxing.
win.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep. We're fighting
yeah.
again May 7th. So.
So yeah,
yeah.
Well, yeah. Basically, you're moving towards the direction of like gaining back the wins because your old school had wins and there's kind of a dry spell until
You hit it, Mike. You
Yeah.
hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
I took, and it's so funny you're saying that. It's taken me 10 years to get to where we're at right now. 10 fucking years. Me and James have been in that room, and it to just build like Josh. I met Josh at jury duty. He was overweight. He was telling me he wanted to train, and now I'm watching him in the ring, fucking going at it with this kid. I'm like, I can't believe that's the kid I met at jury duty. I can't believe there he is now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What would you say your core company mission is? Is basically just to make people fitter, make people basically realize like a little more level of self confidence.
Fitness, self confidence. Yep, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Like that's pretty much what I've seen. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
more like I said. It used to be more just like let's make the meanest, toughest guys.
You're right.
The issue is longevity. I see more longevity now than ever, especially because James will push that, and he's like, dude, I'm not young. I'm not.
So I got to tell you this. So when I got into fitness, I realized and this is between us. John had only one level. He didn't know it was a pyramid. You got to bring it up, bring it down. You can't keep a guy at fight shape 24/7. I was in fight shape for 10 fucking years on that level.
Yeah.
And your body breaks down. So around 45, I started to break down. And all the guys that fought under John, their bodies broke down. All of them. One of them came in, he curses him like that motherfucker, you know. So you got to bring a guy up, and then you got to bring him down and bring him up. And I learned that when I started getting the personal training and stuff. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I was every day, every minute, every second in fight conditioning for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just destroys your body. Like,
It does.
And
Yeah.
like, there's the payout. It's fine if you're like in the UFC, getting like next level. But if you're on the come up, you can't brutalize your body.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
so-
Because the average guy ain't getting paid shit, and he's
No,
going to get
yeah.
beat up a couple times, and he's going to go home. That's it, you know?
Yeah, and if he's already exhausted by the time for the years of him being fit all the time, there's no rest periods. It
Correct.
adds up, and like that's why where I see this environment, James and Walter more like, hey, just take your time, like breathe, think about it,
Yeah.
and not just throw. You might win, but winning in the gym doesn't mean anything if you can't last. Go to a real fight.
Yeah, and me and Jesse a little more old school, and Natalie comes in with the hardcore. Like everyone, when Natalie's training, it's like, oh shit, she's gas to the pedal. Like they're gonna get a hardcore class. Me and Jesse are a little more on the swearing and you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it's a fighting environment. You can't. Like I always like the mentality you can't baby the infantry in the army. Like I was military police, but you saw that same concept. It was like you can't baby the guys who are supposed to be the grunts. You can't baby them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
baby them, they're not gonna be able to compete. So
Yeah.
it's like there's a fine line where you can't be like babying them, but you have to like not destroy them. So and I think you guys found a good level at this point
Definitely.
with that. And then there's like one more concept. Wait, how do you meet customer needs as well? So like.
So, all right. So I'll give you an example. I had a couple people just come in the other day, and it's a mother-daughter and a friend, and they come in and they're like, we don't know what to do. We're afraid to, So long story short, I'll say, what are you looking for? And most people say like, I want self-confidence, or I want to lose 10 pounds, and it's just like they'll come in, fill out a piece of paper, they fill out the what do you call it, the waiver.
Yeah, the
And
waiver.
on the waiver, that's when I'll usually ask questions, and some people come in because they've had a terrible experience with a boyfriend, and some people come in and they just got out of the divorce, and I can cater to anyone, anytime. Like if someone comes in and they want strength training, we have it. We have strength training. We have the small groups to teach them how to lift properly, teach them how to swing bells properly, If someone wants to fight, I can give them that. So it's like, I feel like now the gym, it cooks on all cylinders. If someone comes in like don't want to box at all, and I have that. 3 days a week I have people come in, all they want is strength train. They don't want to box. So we offer that too. So if you want to get stronger, boom. If you want to box, boom,
Yeah, and basically I'll just clarify on this recording is that pretty much you guys are not like a fully weightlifting gym. You guys are all kettlebell, calisthenic, there's weight but not much weight. It's more body weight, group work, and potential personal training from time to time.
We have
One-on-one.
the personal training goes on every day. So, I mean, I got the big fucking hex bars in there, and I have some ladies that do $185. Fucking ladies in their 60s doing $185. So, if you're strong, you want to do cleans and jerks, we offer it all.
Yeah, I just want the clarification of basically it's not like someone can't walk in, have their own weightlifting section. It's meant for group or one-on-one training.
So a girl came in today and said, I'm going to lift.
Okay.
And I had something on the board. She lifted.
Okay.
I taught the class.
Okay.
So I have daily workouts. So people can come in, say you're in my gym and you're like, Jeff, you know what? I want to strength train for 3 days. I don't want to box today. There's the workouts on the board. So you get set up, you set up your own shit, and you can also do that during class hours.
Okay, and I know basically you have a set schedule of how your hours work and how your business is going depending on the days and all that.
Yeah.
I probably want basically like the clarification of like, because we're getting towards the end, because you covered most stuff, is basically how much for each course, like how the courses are scheduled and everything, basically like a layout.
So you have,
basically.
we have regular boxing class, we have small groups, and we have private sessions, Everyone's a little different the way I charge them. Everyone's a little different. I might have someone come in that I know is having a fucked up time in life, and I won't even charge them. But then I'll have someone come in and I'll tee them right off. You know what I mean? That's between me and you,
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, but everyone's different. Everyone's different. Like, I might work with someone that drives an hour to get here. I got people from P-Town that come to work here or work out at the gym. So, everyone's a little different on the price. So, I mean, typically it's 80 a private, but everyone's different, And I know James and Walter run it the same way. It's everyone's got a different price, so I never quote a price because if you fucking someone pays you, I'm like, keep it quiet,
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's hard. Because if you know someone's going through hard times, you're basically trying to help them. Like, you want to get someone or someone's like going through a hard time at like their baby. Some kids' parents getting divorced, and they're like 17, 18.
Yeah.
They don't have money, and they're like, I just want to vent. I want to be able to come somewhere so I don't get any wrong. Because I always saw this as like, see, this is similar to military. It's a good vent instead of like breaking the law.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like
Definitely.
if you're too busy getting beaten up, you're not gonna have time to think about like vandalism or something.
It makes up. It humbles a punk. If you're a punk, you come in here, you're humbled. I've watched punks come in and get humbled. I've seen it. I've seen it.
Don't come back.
The good ones do.
Yeah, the good ones.
But I've seen kids come in here and they get humbled really fast.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, there's more to this,
Yeah, the ones with the ego don't make it, and those are the ones you don't want anyways, because the ones who are gonna hurt other people.
That's true.
You want the ones who are like good at heart, who basically who pretty much want to learn and get better.
Yeah.
Who are willing to take that ego hit, because you're gonna lose, because obviously you're going against a guy who's got 10 years experience.
And without question, like Tommy Morgan and John Burke, they were the two big influences on me. Tommy Morgan and John Burke, like those two really shaped everything for me, They're almost identical to each other. It's amazing how they're both military, they're both fucking hard-nosed. Like, it was like when I left Tommy Morgan and found John Burke, they were identical. They both threw people out of their gym, did fucking wacky shit. So it was both of them kind of,
Yeah, and I think basically I think it's been a good melting pot of, like, the future, because it used to be old school hardcore dungeon. I think now the accumulative everything is causing more of a different environment in there, giving options to every different group.
Absolutely
Instead
true.
of just being like I said, like the tough guys. You know,
Yep.
now it's like people are like, oh, I can learn. So it's like
Yep.
you can call like what the reference they use in like I think Joe Rogan or something like that. We'll call them like nerd assassins. It's like
Yeah.
it's almost we'll have a certain ones here who are just like nerdy, but they can grab
Yeah, that's
they can
true.
put you down.
Yeah.
Like in the there's still gonna be the people who are levels of enforcer where it's basically like if the guy's flailing around, it'll grapple with him and calm him down. Not gonna hurt him, but gonna control him.
And Mike, I want to tell you something. Also, so we had a guy come in and spar, and I could tell this guy wanted to fight, and he came in and sparred, and I knew he didn't like it. And I went up and said, "Listen, don't ever worry about it. You never have to spar again. Come in here, bang the bags. You tried it." And it was almost like when I said it to him, it was like, "Oh, thank God." She thought I was going to be mad at him, and I wanted to know, like, it didn't work for you. You didn't like getting hit in the face. No one gives a fuck. Hit the bag still. Learn how to punch still, because you're going to need that. You know.
Yeah, and well, you see too, like a good example is James can hold somebody down, high level black belt jiu-jitsu. He doesn't like striking. He doesn't like training like that. But if a guy tries to strike with him, he's like, I'll just break distance and grapple you down.
Correct.
Doesn't matter. It's
Correct.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, but he's one of those people who are like, I don't want to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to take him down.
Correct.
And control him.
Yeah.
And like that's good.
Think about you. Would you square off a guy, or would you just take him down and control him?
Oh, for me, I always control because that was like I'll fall back on. That's why I knew, especially now with my strength.
Yeah.
I used to train when back here. I was like 16. So now every time I roll here, it's like it feels like people are giving me stuff.
If I'm out somewhere and it comes down, I'm shooting legs and I'm controlling. I'm not throwing punches.
Well, especially like if you control somebody long enough, because people are usually around.
Yeah.
They're gonna come around, help, basically break it off. Because at the end of the day, you might like it's not you're getting paid for this fight. You don't want to go to jail.
I was with Brian Springsteen the other day, who's tough as a motherfucker now, you know, and he was saying to me, you know, about a confrontation. He goes, you know, I just would look at a guy now and say, I don't want to get my ass kicked. Leave me alone. I'm like, Brian, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Knowing you'd fuck the guy up, but I don't want to get my ass kicked. Leave me alone. You know. Like,
yeah, because it's just there's no point.
No point. There's no point.
Like you win, cool. You win, you slam him. What happens? He gets a severe injury, and then
You're fucked.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, and like that level of understanding fighting, like I always like the mentality when I saw in jiu-jitsu, especially. It's like black belts are always the nicest people because they like know they could kill you, but they like
Correct.
Why would I? I have nothing. You know when people that choke out every day, they're like,
Yeah.
I don't. What am I gonna get from choking you out? Nothing.
And-
except like a lawsuit.
And we got people in my gym from 12 years old to 85 years old, and kids. So I got it. My mother, 85 years old, is in there doing classes. 85 years old, pitting the bags. You know, so you know, in the morning you got such a range of people, such a range of personalities, walks of life. It's crazy. It's a melting pot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and like I said, it's good to see how the gyms turned out. The only thing I'd probably finish on is like future of the gym. Do you ever plan on expanding, or for now it's right now just
So
working on?
I planned on expanding it at one point. Johnny Burke was the one that talked me out of it. Johnny Burke was like, just stuff them in there. He goes, they love being on top of each other, you know. So Johnny Burke was more like, I was going to make this a jiu-jitsu room. The room we're in right now is all grappling. Now, someday I might have to do that. But you know how the gym business is. Right now we're hot. Come July, with summer, we take the dip, right? The gym business is funny. It's a funny business, you know. This someday maybe of just all grappling, just padded walls, just grappling. That would be all striking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have the option to do it. But right now I just like things the way they are. You know?
Yeah, which makes sense. It's not. There's no reason to rush. If you don't feel your business is at that point,
Yeah.
why? There's a lot of issues with people overexpand too soon.
Yep.
And then they end up going under because they can't maintain.
Under Trump, for instance, we were rolling, and then it just that COVID hit. And,
Oh yeah, it's
You
probably
know?
straight all gym environment because I could potentially bring this up too. Is basically how COVID affected your gym during that time. It must have affected like every other gym.
Sucked. It was awful. I did a lot of online stuff. I was doing a lot of online training, but it gets boring, you know. It was we did the online what do you call it, the Zoom classes. We got the Zoom classes going, but it really you know, it really affected us. You know what I mean? People took a long time for people to come back and want to be around people again, and but it definitely, I felt it. I'm glad I didn't expand. I was just about to expand. I was just about to do it. And then that hit. I'm like, good thing I fucking didn't do it, you know?
Well, the good news is too. Now your environment's probably even better because people have been so away from each other for so long. They just want to be part of a group.
Absolutely true.
So it's just like,
Yep.
basically, and like seeing this, even I've seen